as it'll ever be. I'm not wearing underpants, I'm good to go.
You just did that right as we were going live. And 3, 2, 1, we are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 5th installment of GTChannel podcast called Podspeed. We're trying it again. I think we're slowly getting to a place where we have a really good final product. I think it's great to have listeners commenting and letting us know what they feel could be improved. Those are very helpful. Here once again with my main man from our English flavor here, James McKeone. And McKeone. He's got one of the trickiest.
Well, he'll get it right.
One day you'll get it right, Sam. One day.
But he's the host of No Breaking Podcast.
In about a year, he'll get it right.
And it's weekly, right? James?
Correct. Yes,
Correct.
weekly.
So, a lot of inside info, and great guests on his podcast, including I was on it once, I think.
You were.
Right. So that was.
Hey, how come I've never been invited onto the show?
Ask him, not the podcast guy. And then to my right is GTChannel's Taro Koki, who is actually responsible for getting all this thing on air. So guys,
it's a lot of work to get this thing.
Yeah, I know. Look at all this. Look at all this. All these wires and everything.
Yeah, we're doing this in our office, but you can't see behind you guys. But we got a new screen that sends off dust all over the place, and we're sneezing all over the place.
But we're slowly getting good. We have an image behind us that's not glaring like it was before. I think our sound is better, so hopefully we'll get there soon. I think, unless we're already there now. So James, what you been up to the last month?
Well, I've had a couple of cars that I've been driving, so we'll talk about one of them later. I know one has been banned by you, so we're not able to talk about the Lexus RC350, so we'll have to wait till next month for that one.
Well, there's a reason for that, because I test drove a Lexus, so we don't want to, go too heavy on Lexus.
That's exactly
We want to give
true.
everyone fair and equal time here.
We do. We want to give everyone a fair share of the wheel. Also, other than that, I've just been busy with the podcast. We had a couple of guests. I did the OG Motorshow at the start of the month.
Oh, sweet.
Which meant that we've had a couple of bonus episodes that have been going on 2 a week, and she'll continue through for the remainder of the month. The OG Motorshow is essentially a combination of bike builders and artists who will put it together.
That's our friend John P.
That is correct. Also another guest
John
of the
P,
No Breaking podcast.
Why do you call him P? Because you can't pronounce his last name?
His last name is
Panglion or something like that. Can you do it? He was your guest, for God's sake.
No, John P is what I always call him. That's it.
Like Mayor Pete, right?
Yeah.
You don't want what about you, Tara? What's been happening with you? I know there was a big weekend last week in Long Beach. I know you were covering that.
Well, I'm recovering from my back.
Oh, that's
my
right.
back is recovering.
That's good. That's good.
So
That's it?
that's no. Well, I've been doing a lot of things, but my back's been my major thing.
Okay, we don't care about your back.
I think everybody cares.
Do they really?
Yeah,
I care about his back.
I got a lot of fan mail about how's my back.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how did our friend Dai Yoshihara do?
Dai got knocked out, unfortunately, at top 16.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it's not bad, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's not bad. He made it into the show. He got knocked out at top 16, but he's doing well. I mean, the car's dialed in, and I think he'll do good this season.
Really?
Yeah,
Better
I
than
think he
next
will.
year?
Also looking forward to having Di on the No Breaking podcast next week.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
He qualified fourth, I think.
Mhm.
So he got a 97,
Right.
which is super high.
Yeah, that is. It's almost.
But the number one guy got 99 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean the level of
It's getting high,
drifting
huh?
is just getting so high. It's like when Dai got the 97, and he was in first place. We thought, okay, he's gonna qualify first.
Right.
But then
Someone just
three
came in.
guys came in and just knocked it out of the park. And but it's okay.
Is drifting here to stay? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's 16th season. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know. I
Formula
can't
Drift
believe
is in
that.
its 16th season.
I can't
already.
believe that. But it's good crowds. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
and
interest.
what's really cool is that the Pro 2 series is getting new blood as well constantly, and there's a grassroots movement as well, which is really
And not only that, they have the first, although it didn't make the field, the first electric drift car competing this year in
Did they really?
Formula
Oh, I
Drift.
didn't
Yes.
even know.
Yeah,
Wow.
they brought it out, but they couldn't run it because of safety issues.
Oh, okay.
Because of the battery.
Right, yeah.
So they're trying to work on it to make it happen. But it's interesting. I mean, it's a Camaro body with the Tesla battery pack in, essentially.
Wow.
Yes.
It's
So,
kind of
and
a fun
it's-
car to drive on the
and
street.
It's got a fake clutch, as I understand it, is what it works.
To like control the power.
So
on
no,
off
so
of
it's
the
a
throttle?
fake clutch. So it's just so it's sort of the muscle memory. So he uses the fake clutch for muscle memory, but when he instigates, it cuts out, and that's when he's able to make the. So it's the so the engine automatically does the clutch. So he's just
that's
doing that
interesting.
for nothing. So the engine will clutch kick itself.
Oh, nice.
Did any of you guys watch the Long Beach Grand Prix?
No.
Or no? Do you know who won?
Which race we're talking about
Yeah.
here?
Oh, the Grand Prix, the Sunday, the IndyCar race.
Alexander Rossi.
He just ran away with it. He's dominant. That guy, I think. I'm wondering if he'll be in Formula One soon because that guy is very impressive. But
Well, he was in Formula One.
oh, he was.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought he just came straight to. Wait, who did he race for?
I think.
Because there was a time where I just did not follow Formula One.
Yes, there was a
obviously,
time.
obviously.
So he was sort of a backup driver running in the back of the field, and then with him not being able to get the sponsorship, they could able to push him forward.
Oh, maybe then.
He
I
took
correct
his-
what I say.
he took
He'll
his-
get back to Formula One. That's why we have you here, James. You
Well, he also might want to dominate an Indy as well. And so
kind
win
of
a
starting
championship.
to
Yeah.
a bit. So.
Also, my friend and former podcast guest Scott Dixon was on the podium as well.
Oh, that's right.
Had a very unfortunate race with lots of all the luck going against it,
Whoa.
but still managed to
Well,
get on there.
You saw? Do you see how it ended? Where Graham?
Yeah, with the blocking.
not Graham. Yeah. So, so anyway, so I'd be interested to see from your especially GTChannel fans. What would they rather watch? Would they rather go watch an IndyCar race, or would they rather watch a drift competition? What do you think? Do you think most of your viewers would rather watch a drift
Well,
competition?
for GT Channel, definitely
Yeah.
drifting and maybe the sports car racing. You know, the INSA stuff.
Right.
Because
Because
they're
they're cars that they know.
cars.
Yeah.
The Indy stuff is, I think, is just a different crowd.
Yeah, it
But
is.
you get everything at Long Beach Grand Prix, which is really cool.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, the only downside is it's always generally really hot, and you always get really sunburnt.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
For me, anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
actually,
It
to
is-
think about it, I
you
start
gotta
getting
work,
red.
yeah.
It is
It doesn't
very
work.
hot. It is very hot. But,
I mean, I have to apply sunscreen every 14 minutes.
Screen and wear a hat.
but
pretty much.
Formula Drift Long Beach is a week prior to Long Beach Grand Prix.
Right,
But
exactly,
during
I
the
know.
weekend, they have the
The
Motegi Super Drift
Yeah.
on
Right.
Fridays and Saturdays. So they kind of have like a double header drifting event at night. So you're
And I
there
believe
to
Forrest-
watch
Forrest
Indy.
Wang
Yeah,
took
Forrest
the
Wang
win.
won both nights actually. So he did really well.
God, you're on top of things. I never even heard of
I
Forrest
try to
Wang.
be hip and down
You
with the kids.
are
Sam.
hip, man.
Yeah, Forrest
You
is
are
Forrest is
hip.
good. Forrest is
Wow.
good. He's got good style. He's a great drifter.
Well, as we're speaking now, New York Motorshow, first press day is going on, so we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll have some late breaking stuff. But before that, I think the big news of the last few weeks was the Chevrolet mid-engine Corvette that GM Chevrolet introduced in the streets of New York of all places, and they're not bashful about saying, "Hey, it's coming." So it's not really even a scoop anymore because everyone's seen it. But I thought it was a car that we cannot ignore. There's actually a photo from GM, and this is what we hear about the car now. The base model will come with a 6.2 liter V8, probably dubbed LT2 because the LT1 engine, the 460 horsepower LT1 engine is in the current C7, and this will be actually the C8 Corvette, and they're saying horsepower will be 500, right around 500, so it'll be up a little more than the LT1 right now, which is 460, 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, so it'll be paddle shifting. And then we hear there's a Z06, ZR1, and all kinds of different grades coming, including a hybrid.
Is that the release date on the side of the car?
Yes, it is. So it's July 18th. That's exactly right. So I'm as excited as hell about this car, but is it a Corvette to me? I mean, Corvette is so steeped in history and tradition. And and to me, a front-engine rear drive layout is pretty ideal for a high-performance street car. I think when you start getting into the mid-engine stuff, you start getting into really race cars, a little more exotic stuff. But let's start with you, James. What do you think? What do you think about this C8 mid-engine Corvette?
I think it's a shrewd business plan. I think it's going to come in underneath most other exotic sports cars that look like this. I think it'll undercut them in price, and I think that from what I understand, GM make a good percentage on the Corvette, and then also there's the profit margin you get when you spec it up. And I think this will be one where they can look to certainly help with their shareholders, I would say, in regards for that. I also like the styling of it. I think it's fun. But I expect to see many, many of them driving around.
When you say price, it's going to be, we hear, they haven't announced anything yet, it's going to be 60,000 to 70,000, which is going to be undercutting the rivals by quite a bit, which, Corvette has always kind of done.
Yeah.
Great value for the money.
Obviously, the first thing you've got to worry about is just the build quality. It's the first thing that I'm concerned. I mean, I have driven a couple of Corvettes, and the build quality is, while it's a fantastic car to drive, it's the one that you're worried about. Would it be a fantastic car to keep for several years with the quality of the bits and pieces?
No, I think they've been pretty good. I mean, of course they're not as refined as the Porsches and the Ferraris out there, but again, you're getting performance equal to, better than that, at a much lower price. So, we'll see if it really does come in at $60,000 or $70,000. What do you think about this car, Taro?
I'm just wondering, how much. I think there's the share price, all the economical reasons as well. Develop something that's completely different to what they were doing, and kind of price it a little bit higher but lower than their competitors. But performance-wise, do you think it'll? My question is.
Oh yeah, 500 horsepower.
Right. Oh, that's horsepower, but I mean, they've never built a mid-engine, sports car.
They've had a mid-engine, I think, a concept Corvette before, but no, I don't think they've built a production mid-engine car.
Right?
Yeah. Well, here's my take on it. I think you have a Camaro, right, and it's got a lot of performance, and it's, it comes in at a pretty good price. It's front engine, rear drive.
Right.
So, maybe, hey, let's mix it up a bit and give it to, let's make the Camaro a little different than the Corvette a little different than the Camaro.
Okay.
But that said, I'm still kind of a traditionalist when it comes to cars, and it's always been a front engine, rear drive car. I mean, that kind of created that genre there.
I like the long front nose, and like the Corvettes of.
So what do you?
I just don't. It doesn't look like a Corvette anymore.
Should it be? I mean, I love the car, like you said, James. I think it looks great. I think with all the camouflage, even you could kind of get a sense how the car is going to look. Should have been should they have given it another name?
No, I don't think
it
so.
Needs to be a Corvette.
It needs to be the Corvette. And I agree with you, Sam, as well. The idea of stepping away from the Camaro, because I think the Camaro is shortly going to be due for a rejig in regards to what they're doing with it. So it makes sense for them to produce a halo car, and this being a halo car, and then having a very high-performance sports car underneath it as well.
Which car company should be nervous? Of course, Porsche. Yeah.
I'd even keep it close to home.
I think the Ford GT, like racing-wise, from a motorsport standpoint, I think.
Racing. Yeah. This will definitely be a race car. Definitely.
They're going to be racing this thing in IMSA.
Exactly. This is going to go head-to-head with the Ford GT, and they can say, well, you can get the Corvette for 60 to 70, or you can get a Ford GT that you can't for 600.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can have a Corvette for every day of the week, and then have money in the bank, or you can get one Ford that you can't really get because they wouldn't let you get one.
Right.
That's going to be. I mean, I put that as my advertising straight away.
Right. Yeah. I hear they might put a twin turbo overhead cam V8 into this thing, which will come with a flat plane crankshaft, which you see on a lot of exotic cars and race cars. And flat plane crankshafts, you get higher RPMs from them instead of a cross plane crankshaft. So this thing is going to be a very, very, very high performance car. I think it's going to be right. I think it might performance wise be up there with the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis of the world. We also hear, and maybe this will have the Acura. Well, I don't know if the Acura NSX will be too nervous because I don't know how many they sell right now, because I don't see too many around the roads. But a hybrid version of this car with the engine in the front there, because this will be mid-engine, have a couple motors there, and together 1,000 horsepower, which is possible if you combine the V8 and the engine.
Is that already in the?
No. These are rumors. Everything I'm saying are rumors.
Yeah.
So that's our scoop part of the thing.
So they're going to have a hybrid version.
Yeah, and I think that's cool because that kind of shows, hey, Chevrolet, we're not behind.
Well, they're at the forefront of the electric car market.
They are
Obviously,
right
with
now,
they've had the Volt and the Bolt.
Yes.
So a Bolt's a great little car. The Volt was a good idea. So it makes sense to say, well, we can use some of that technology we're investing in. Let's put it in our car and make it even faster.
Yeah, that only makes sense to use that technology for their highest.
Yeah, and then
Highest,
if
you
you
know.
think about it, at that point,
Wow.
even if they went to go almost double the price for the car, if you could get the base for 60 and they did a hybrid version for even 100, just over 100,000 maybe, they had 1,000 horsepower for $100,000.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty special in regards to bang for your buck.
What do you think the base model would cost on this thing? Or is it?
Oh, 60 to 70,000.
70,000.
That's what we hear. Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know for sure, but that's what we hear,
That-
which is
that's
pretty
like
low for a
That's a
car like
great
this.
deal.
Yeah, oh, we don't know. It might. Who knows? It might
If
come
it
in at
is,
80 to 100. We don't know.
Yeah, but if
that's
you
what
can-
we hear.
If you can get a midship sports car, right, a high performance sports car in the 60s, that's a great deal.
It is, and it does look good, and you could tell that by the profile here. I mean, that engine's that picks up, and you could see the engine is it's forward of the rear axis. So yeah.
Right.
So, to tell you the truth, I can't wait to drive this. I hope we all get a chance to drive this because I love I love Corvettes just because of the performance. But I tell you, driving them in a long distance, you kind of get tired. It's a little it's rumbly, which a lot of people like. But I wonder if this will have the kind of refinement that some of the European and the Japanese supercars will have. So I think it'll be interesting. And who are the competitors? Porsche, right? 911, maybe even the GT. GTR is kind of a front. It is a front engine all-wheel drive. So I don't know, but
I think, to be honest, if they drop this at 60 to 70,000, even at 70, I think everyone will be scared.
yeah,
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, because it's just the marketing on it. You could be like,
500 horsepower too for that.
exactly,
Yeah, so-
500 horsepower. If they went higher and they did 1,000 horsepower with hybrid for 100 plus,
Right.
everyone, because they can't compete with that.
Right.
And if they sell X amount, which is what they're going to do, then they'll be very, very happy.
Is this for 60 grand? Is this something you would say? Hey, I might be in the market for this.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too. Actually, me too. I don't.
I think we're all
I
thumbs
don't-
up on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
I mean, we just
I'm a big Porsche guy. I would love a 911, but
It's a great deal.
the question though is,
exactly 911's over 100 grand.
would you be able to go? How big is your Tommy Bahama shirt collection though to match with the Corvette? That's a big thing you got to think about here.
Oh, well, it might not be Tommy. This car will exude a new brand, a new.
So you don't think
image.
Tommy Bahama chic?
No, I-
might get like a new younger audience or a crowd to.
I think you might. Yeah, it might be good.
I don't know.
yeah.
I think they'll be back with their Harleys at the dealership there, and there'll be the doctors and the dentists will be all ready to.
It could be. I think so. I think so. Anyways, okay. Everyone loves this. We can't wait for it to come out.
July.
Come July 18th will be. And it's almost like why camouflage it up to this point? You can kind of see how the car looks, but I guess they kind of have to, But it's a beautiful design. So and they might bring the name Zora for like the high performance for Zora Duntov. Zora, what's the whole name? Zora Arctis Duntov or something like that. Who's very 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 important person in the history of Corvette. So
Was he a designer or something?
yeah, he's one of the
Oh, okay.
Zora Arctis. Now, we go straight from this car to, it will definitely not be a competitor to this car, but it's almost the same genre, but this car will be restricted to the track and only a very, very few people will be able to drive it because there's only one. It's called the Ferrari P80C, and rumor has it that they have been developing this since when? It was like quite a long time, since 2015, so it's taken 3 to 4 years to develop this one car that this one crazy rich Asian, we hear it's crazy rich Asian.
Good looking car.
Oh yeah.
Is that by you saying that, Sam? You're just trying to say it's not you because I thought this
I
was
wish
you.
it
That's
was
what I
me.
understood.
God, I wish it was
heard
you.
from Marinello that it was Sam Mitani because of the
I wish
prototype
it
novel.
was. Oh.
He's been able to put that money towards his
Oh,
vehicle.
I
Royalties
wish-
should
I
be
wish.
coming in.
Yeah,
by
the
now, right?
royalties
Yep.
are coming in, but not much. But it's not enough to afford anything. I might be able to afford a diecast of this, maybe, but
What's 143rd or 132?
the smaller the smaller the more possible. So this is As you can see, it's been inspired by some historic Ferrari models like the Dino 206S and the 330 P3 and one of my all-time favorites, the P4. This is a pure track car with the Ferrari 488 as the base. We don't know the specifications of this car because it's very secret. It's only been made for one person. But we hear from some of the reports that it's a twin turbocharged V8, 3.9 liter V8 with 660 horsepower. And you could tell, I'm sure, lots of parts under that beautiful red paint is carbon fiber, so I'm sure it's very light. This is the longest development period for a Ferrari one-off to date, so they really put their effort into this.
How much was
That's exactly right. What do you think? I'm thinking 4 years of development for one car, 10 million. You think? How much would they?
No, I don't think it's going to be that much. I think it'll be well less than that. I think it'll be.
It's
one
almost like
car,
hard
it's
to
a-
even put a price on something like
You
that.
see how it's beautiful.
Well, I would, I'm sure.
Yeah, it
The
is.
accountant was like, it's exactly this much, and gave me the ticket. And then
5 million?
I'd say probably I'd
3 million?
I'd be saying between 3 and 4 million. I
Okay,
think
that would be
I think-
reasonable,
I
you know,
think $1
for
million
something
a
like
year
this.
to develop something seems absolutely fine. And if it's 3 to 4 years,
That's
then 3 million.
that's true. Yeah. But I think this car, in 40 years' time, being a one-off and being this special, could be, at Barrett Jackson.
I don't think it's a good Barrett
I don't think it's
Jackson.
going to go to Barrett Jackson. I think it's going to be like Sotheby's
Or Sotheby's, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
right,
but
like
something,
somewhere.
yeah.
I think that Ferrari might have also made sure that this gentleman has a collection of other cars. As
I'm
well,
sure
that,
he-
that
oh,
are all
I'm
red
sure
and
he
have
does.
panting horses on before he was able to get this one.
Do
I'm
we
sure he does.
know? Do we have any idea who?
No, all I heard was it was maybe someone from Asia.
Asia.
So, chances are
It's
Chinese.
Mitani.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's not
So
going to Brunei, that's for sure.
Brunei. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You get stoned there for just doing the wrong thing. But what do you guys think of this guy? It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a lovely looking car. I mean, you can't deny that. It's really pretty.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? Exactly. What can you say?
What can you say?
I mean, it's a
Look at
car.
that front spoiler
Yeah,
there.
It's a piece
It's
of art,
just-
right?
It is
It's like,
really
what
a
can you-
piece of
What
art.
can you say? I mean, it's perfect.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you think about 5 million? Oh, wait, 3 million. 3 million.
Yeah,
Three,
yeah, I would say-
that sounds
I would-
about right,
I
huh?
would say 3 years of, well, yeah, it's custom made, right? It's like
If
pretty
you
much
were
custom
a
made.
billionaire, yeah, 3 million. It's
Wouldn't
tough
you
kid,
say
right?
it's a little cheap though for
That's
$3
why I
million is
would think a
cheap
little bit
for
more.
something like like a one-off?
No, I don't think
No?
no, I don't think so.
But anyways, it is a beautiful car. It's only one of its kind, which is
And
pretty
it's a
amazing.
track car, right? It's not even.
Yeah, it's a track
not
car.
even a street car.
No, the guy might have his
Unless
own
you
track.
own the city, and then
Yeah,
you would be like,
exactly.
I'm just taking it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well,
That's
if
true.
he owns the city, maybe he can
Yeah,
drive around
so-
the city with it.
It is a beautiful car. There's another picture of it in action. You could really see the front
I mean, to
spoiler
me,
there.
the funny thing about it is it does look like a modern De Tomaso Pantera.
It does have a little
It does.
Pantera
It does.
thing in there, but
It
yeah,
does look-
I'm sure I think the Pantera is a really good looking car. So,
You can see he was a fan of the classics, though.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's the.
well, I love the rear bumper, the rear
Yeah.
arch there, and the rear deck. It's beautiful. Yeah, and that reminds me of like an old Ferrari race car, right there.
Now the question is though, would you rather have this one or the Jim Glickenhaus P3, P4?
That would be very, very tempting to say.
Which
I
one
would take
you
this
rather
one.
have?
I would take this
I'll
one.
take this one.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
I know. I think I'm kind
Take
of
the P3, P4. That's yeah. But I mean, this thing are those headlights? I don't even think it has headlights.
Doesn't look like
Yeah.
it.
So.
I mean,
Obviously not.
Why does it even have mirrors? Like, it's like,
Well, if you're on the track day, you
It's
don't want
so-
anyone to get. I mean, I would not
I
drive
take
this
it
on a
on a
track.
track day.
Oh no, not on a track day. On the track, yeah, but
I would
not
take
with
it on
other
the
cars.
track, but it's like,
Not with other cars.
yeah,
no.
not with other,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't, you don't even need mirrors.
Yeah. So, anyways, for $4 million, yeah, I think it's probably a good deal. I wonder if anyone else, maybe a journalist or maybe someone from Top Gear or someone from Grand Drive would be able to drive it. It'd be interesting. Would love to see, or Grand Tour. I'm sorry, Grand Tour would be interesting to see that episode.
Well, Nick Mason doesn't own it, so I don't know if they're going to get a chance to.
No, you never know. You never
There's
know.
always a chance.
There's always a chance. Well, going from this it wasn't exactly a scoop because it's been out there, but this we just got word from our Japanese sources. We call them spies or whatever, but
This is our spy car of the week, right?
kind of, yeah. Mazda, we hear, is working on a front engine rear drive sedan, which kind of brings back the old days of the Amati. I don't know if you remember, it was a luxury brand that they never really actually made. But the only really sporty vehicle that Mazda has in its lineup is the MX-5 Miata.
Yep.
They used to have the RX-7 and stuff, and and if you ask me, traditionally, I think Mazda, they used to call them the BMW of the Japanese brand because of their cars drove, so well. And it was more of a driver's car than, let's say, a Toyota or a Nissan. So I think it's a car that they would really like to. They should probably. It would be a good step in the right direction. They say this car might replace the Mazda 6 right now because the Mazda 6, it's a big car, but I don't think it's selling as well as they like. And you can see
The Mazda 6 is a good-looking car, though.
it is. I think every single car in the Mazda lineup is a good look,
car,
including the SUVs. I think the CX-5 is a good looking car. And this will. They're saying this will could come as a coupe and a four-door sedan. But that's all we really know about the car. But I hope this is true. Does Mazda have the money to develop a brand new chassis and a new car? I don't know, but that's what we're hearing. Because they got to do something. Because their Mazda 3 is selling good. Their Miata MX-5 is doing pretty well. The sport utility is doing well, but the Mazda 6
Well,
is the big.
the 6 just had a refresh of the fascia.
They had to do something. Yeah.
Well, it makes it look nice and makes it look very European. I will say that.
Mazda's always had a little bit of a European flavor.
And I
to
think
the
that
car.
it makes sense that they'll be at this time to now looking to renew the platform and put something new in. They could still carry over the same engine because they're still working on that Skyactiv technology and still pushing the power they can do with that. So I don't see that the engine development needs too much work. And generally, we all know that the Mazda cars, as you say, handle real well. So there's not much need to do on the
They
suspension
do. Their
dynamics.
steering is really
It's
nice.
just basically putting a new body on there. And I think it seems a real sensible option.
I hope it looks a little better than these drawings. I don't know, the artist maybe.
These look very much like Infinities to me.
A little
They
bit,
do.
yeah,
They
a little
do.
bit, yeah.
Like,
So whatever
especially
the artist did
top
there.
one.
Yeah.
They have great looking cars though. Like all the car shows,
Yeah,
the concept
beautiful,
cars that they come
yeah.
out with are really, really beautiful. I just don't understand why they can't reflect more of that onto the
Well,
real
we're on-
cars
yeah.
that they produce.
While we're on this topic, then, what do you guys think? Go ahead and rank in your mind overall design. Japanese companies, top 3 or
We're
4.
not talking about the luxury brands. We're just talking about
Luxury brands too. All cars, designs. All car companies and brands, designs. Which one do you go? Yeah, those are my kind of cars. Those are my kind of designs there.
I think it's too. What you mean? We're just talking about.
It's pretty
Japanese
broad.
Cars,
Yeah,
or-
right now Japanese. Yeah,
Well, I like Nissan because they always tend to throw out the weird ones. So
like
you
the
know-
Juke
Yeah,
and
you go-
Murano.
They take
Yeah.
risks.
Yeah, so I
they
like
take
that
risks.
about them. I like that they take risks, especially. A Murano convertible costs sign me up. I want at least.
Whoa! I was just saying, put a bag over that thing and
No,
just
that
kick
is-
it to the curb.
That is what I
kick it into
want
the
in
river.
life. Is a Murano convertible.
I heard
That was the worst looking vehicle I had ever seen. Taking risks
Wasn't
is
that just
good.
for Gomes' wife because she wanted that or something like that?
I don't know, but it was
Maybe the less said about that, the better. Show. But no,
like
they
the Infinity too. Then right, FX, right? That kind of.
These are good-looking cars.
I think Infinity is very strong right now.
And then if you look at Toyota, I think Toyota and Honda make the most, would say, the common sense approach to it. Whereas
okay.
this is straight down the line.
Yeah.
And then I think Mazda brings a little bit of style, and Mitsubishi, I don't know about Mitsubishi, what they're doing at all right now.
No,
They're
they're still working on their. Yeah, they're trying to get their vehicles a little sportier, right?
Well, the SUV.
Yeah.
crossover
Well, that's all
things,
they have now. So.
I don't know what we can say about that.
Yeah,
But that's my take on it.
Lexus.
Well, Lexus, the...
Is that the same with Toyota, you think?
Yes, it's the more luxurious. So as we know, we've talked about a few Lexus here. They've had the pleasure of driving yourself,
Right,
Sam.
right.
I mean, they're all very nice looking cars. The style well, they're very luxurious. So it fits in with that dynamic of where you wanted to go. They're not really taking risks. is what I'd
Subaru?
say. Subaru, the same sort of thing. I mean,
Kind of, yeah.
I don't think
really.
they're kind of like Mitsubishi, where I think design is like second to technology. They're more like functional stuff. And
Yeah,
I don't
mean,
think their design is
the
like,
designers are going to be not too happy about you saying that, but yeah, I see your,
you
I
can
see
tell
what
that
you're
they're
talking
not
about.
prioritizing.
yeah, the
design.
engineering is...
The engineering is what
And
they're
their
really
target
pushing their
markets
markets at too.
that they work with, I think, is what's driving their design. Let's put it that way.
Well, Mazda's at the top of my list right now when it comes to design. I think for what they have and their whole lineup of cars from their Mazda 2 to all their SUVs, I think their design is consistent and consistently good. Infiniti and Lexus, I think, are right there, maybe right below them, but they're luxury brands, so I think they have a little more. It's not as difficult to tie all the DNA as it is for, I think, Mazda. I totally agree with you guys on Toyota and Subaru. I think they're good. But they're safe, right? They're safe designs. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Except for I think Mazda's maybe the top.
Yeah, I haven't seen, like recently I had a chance to go car shopping with my wife because she's looking for a new car. And when you go car shopping, you actually like sit in the car and you're like, test drive and you're like, touching all the things. What I really didn't realize, like for car buying, like decision priorities, like my wife was like, the interior was like the most important thing ever, right? It's like apart from like even the outside color. She was like, I want this type of interior, this type of color. And I think you guys were talking mostly about design outside, like exterior design.
Right, exterior, yeah.
But I think like for car manufacturers, like the interior design is like really, really important. Like, and I didn't realize that because I'm more, performance and like, exterior car kind of guy. And I think most guys are like that, but I think Infiniti has like the best interior design.
That's surprising, really?
And
Okay.
quality. Lexus is beautiful.
Yeah, I would go with Lexus.
I like Lexus. Lexus cars are really quiet too, and I think the function meets form and everything, but there's just like these small details in Lexus cars where it looks like, oh, you took this straight from a Toyota or a Camry or something. It's not like
I think they're pretty careful not to do that, but you notice that?
You can tell those things. It's like, some of the like, shift knobs or like little details, like even just like the pedals and stuff like that, like the parking brakes, for example. So I would rank Infiniti before Lexus in terms of interior design, and then I think all the other ones are kind of like the same. I think
Mazda's up there?
Yeah, Mazda would probably come after that. Honda designs are way too...
They're too funky for me. Yeah, exactly.
Japanese animation.
I'm not a big Civic.
It's just
I don't
too
like
boy
the Honda
racer-ish
Civic.
for me.
I'm sure there's a lot of Honda fans out there. But,
I'm sure, but that's...
Are you one too? Yeah. Good. You could defend.
That's kind of like their deal, though, right? I think they're not looking for like luxury. They're looking more for like,
I'm not a big fan of how
Cool
they look.
looking.
You like how they look, yeah?
We've discussed this in many podcasts.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I didn't realize how many people they had, for example, on an interior design team. I mean, when I'm speaking to some of the designers that I've had on the No Braking podcast,
Right.
I mean, this said for a car, there's up to like 60 plus designers that are working on a car. And that's split between the two teams. You've got 30 people working on the exterior and 30 people working on the interior.
All right.
Yeah.
So the number of the people they have behind it to push something through to concept, then go from concept to actual making something is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you're spending all your time.
At least $12.
in
At
the
least
car,
$12.
Yeah, I mean, you have to...
Of designers' money.
Well, this car, since it's FR, front engine rear drive, it'd be nice to see if it could be a base, serve as a platform for a future sports car, maybe. You never know.
They could use another sports car.
Well, of course they could, but
MX-5 is the only
it's just
sporty
exactly.
car
But
they have.
it's just volume is limited. It's not something a car company that's not reeling in the big bucks could really afford to make. So.
But
another $30,000 high performance like RX-7 car would be awesome, and I'm sure the the Wankel, the rotary would not probably work unless it was a series.
Everything's Sky Active. So
Yeah, or a series hybrid or
But
something.
what this car could be is like a good, kind of like I wouldn't say like a crossover in terms of like SUV and sedan, but you have the MX-5 and it's a really sporty car. It's a two-seater, and they have nothing like in between. The next thing they have is like
Oh, they got the Mazda 3.
yeah, well,
The hatchback, that's pretty sporty.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess they have the Mazda.
It's not rear drive, but yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but like something, I just don't feel there's like, you have a really sporty car, you have like the MX-5 Cup, you have guys that are out racing, and then what are they gonna drive?
This car.
on a daily.
I think if you make a Mazda with a front engine rear drive car, a sedan or a coupe like this, I think it puts the Mazda 6 right back into the equation.
Yeah.
And it becomes an attractive
so this
option
would be a great car
over an Avalon or a
Right.
Camry right. So I think it's a smart move if they have the money to actually develop and make this car. So, and you guys agree, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
So-
Yeah.
Okay, so going from there, that's our scoop section. So going from there, we happening right now is the New York Auto Show, and I guess the big news that broke yesterday was the 50th anniversary version of the 370Z. So it was 1969, 1970 when the 240Z made its appearance here in the U.S. under Mr. K. Yutaka Katayama, who, gosh, he lived to 98, almost 100 years old, I think. So, and they were based right here in Gardena, and
He was out at events and stuff.
yeah,
So he'd come
my
out
goodness,
and,
yeah, he would travel. It's
yeah.
crazy. It's
All the
crazy.
Z meets out here. I remember
So-
when the 350 came out, like
Yeah.
when it made the revival, he was
Yeah.
still around.
Oh
and
yeah, he was still around.
doing the rounds.
Yeah, he did.
Can we just talk about that quickly? The 350 when they re-released it and they made the movie The Run, and how much fun it was. And when you watch it in the cinema for the 5 minutes with the driving of the car.
I didn't.
Sam, you've not seen it. You would have watched it on YouTube.
Oh my
When again,
goodness!
with
I'm the one who
kids.
broke the car in the U.S.
I know.
Broke the
see?
story of the car in the
And
U.S.
you know nothing about The Run. Sam, come on, you've got to do your homework. Well, I want you to do this an expose on it next
I know
podcast.
nothing
next time.
about the run.
You've got to watch it.
Really?
Yeah, it's real good.
Okay.
Is it on YouTube?
Yes.
Well, everything's on YouTube, I guess.
Well, this car, no performance mods, unfortunately, but you can see it's all paint scheme.
So
Yes.
when they say no performance, is that based on the Nismo or is it based on the standard?
No, standard car. The what was it? The track model. Yeah.
Well, you
So,
can tell how high it's.
or the sport model, or track model, or something else.
It's got no front
So-
spoiler.
No.
But this car doesn't have the rear spoiler. That's the only difference between that and the sport model. It's the sport model, not track model.
Is this is a limited edition?
Yes,
right?
50, only 50. So this is going to be a pretty
Do they already
collectible.
sold? I'm guessing they're
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
I'd assume so. That's when it is. Because
Could be.
it is a really good looking car and the interior is sensational.
You like the paint scheme?
I think the paint scheme they did a real good homage to the old one. I mean, I prefer.
Well,
this
the
one.
homage is to the BRE, Pete Brock BRE Racing 240Z, which pretty much once that thing hit the track, it was just with John Morton behind the wheel, just absolutely just dominant. One really put Datsun and Nissan on the racing car map here, SCCA. And that kind of led to the IMSA car, Steve Millen, and then you have the Bob Sharp Z's where Paul Newman was, winning everything in. So this car is pretty, not this car, but the race car is very significant in not just the U.S. racing history, but of course Datsun Nissan racing history. And the two stripes, we'll show a picture of the race car in a bit, but it's kind of how it looks. The red roof, the two stripes down the line, which is very reminiscent of the Bach racing car. There's the rear, and it's in New York, so I'm sure they shot this right before, taking it to the Javits New York Motor Show. And there's the race car, which I think was totaled in a race, so they have a bunch of replicas and stuff now. But damn, that thing still looks great, doesn't it? The 46 car. So,
Yeah.
so anyways,
Doesn't
yeah,
Adam Carolla own one of these cars?
he could, he might. I don't know. Does he?
I think he does.
Okay. But yeah, so you can see the two iconic stripes down the left side there, and the red roof and the red.
I think I think Adam parted ways though when he was going for the Paul Newman, which he switched his thing to now. So I think he might have moved out of his collection with where he's going.
Oh, you did?
I think, but I could be wrong, and someone could always...
He's got a couple of those, I think. But yeah,
I think he switched when he made the purchase of the Paul Newman Hawaiian car.
So this car, it doesn't just come in the white and red, it'll come in the black and silver with a bunch of 50th anniversary, little commemorative logos on it. Here's the silver.
Have you got the seats?
Oh, with the backrest? Yeah, I don't have a photo.
Oh, Sam, what are you doing?
I like
sorry,
the black
sorry.
and silver one better.
See, I prefer the white and red.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it could use a big Japanese flag on
Agree to
the
disagree.
on the hood or something.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that 50th anniversary. I thought, oh, maybe it's a new Z. What a way to celebrate it. But what do you guys think about this?
I think it's a fine homage, and it's a good. I think it's tastefully done. Obviously, we were all the performance people here in the room, so we'd always like it to be a little bit more fast or a little bit dull. But they've got the Nismo there that still is the one that they're going through, and they're obviously debuting changes to another car, we'll probably talk about later. So I think the idea of this, it's just a good-looking car. It's a nice, tastefully done. They have to do too much investment into it, and they just put the right things together, and they've got it there. It's ready to go.
Something you'd like in your garage? Probably, yeah.
I think that.
Especially if there's only 50 being made.
Yeah, I mean, I think the chances of me getting one are very slim to none.
You never know, James.
But
You never know, James.
I think I prefer the Nismo, even though it's difficult to get over speed bumps and things like that. I really enjoy driving the Nismo.
Okay.
I mean, I wish they had made this car based on a Nismo. Then I think it would have been a little bit more
Racing.
add a little bit more prestige. And I mean, if they're gonna pay homage to like the racing history, shouldn't it have been a Nismo?
No, that's a good point. I'm glad at least they made it the sport model because it comes with the manual transmission.
Yeah.
Their sport touring model does not have a manual transmission; it only comes with automatic. So
Right.
yeah, so
This comes with both transmissions.
yeah.
I believe.
It's both. Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's the 6-speed manual, the 7-speed.
but we would get it with the manual.
Although having said that, having driven the automatic transmission with the paddles, it wasn't that bad to drive.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Yeah.
It was pretty enjoyable. It was nice, easy, and it was fun. I'll put it that way. It was a lot of fun.
What I love about, I think the automatic has this too, but the manual transmission, it has the rev matching. Yeah, that is so awesome. That just, yeah. Even though, I mean, the art of heel and towing is kind of a lost art now with all these, paddle shifters and stuff, but that it does it a little bit for you, I think that's awesome.
No, it's a really great that they can use it. That
I think
is one of the greatest technological inventions, and the automatic handbrake that comes on just now randomly in cars. I really like that too.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, where it's like the automatic park brake, just switch on just at the traffic lights. You don't have to it'll start. I'm like, nice.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. So, fun car to drive still, although it is old. It's when was the last when was the 370?
I would be surprised if this
2011 or something. No, 20.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if they send this off now with this, and then we look to see something new come through after the fact.
Maybe. Well, we hear some rumblings. But anyways, this is how the car looks. Oh, is it? Oh, you're hungry. Okay, we need to feed you. You can see the little triangle right at the the back pillar there. That's reminiscent of the old race car and the Z. And that's pretty much it. It does. At first, when I first saw this car in the red and white, I go, oh. That is just it's just kind of tacky, but the more I look at it, the better I like it. So even you said, hey, I'd rather have the, whatchamacallit.
I'd rather take the silver one.
And the silver one looks like this.
The silver one I can drive.
It almost looks like it's a carbon fiber hood there, but it's
Why
not.
one?
Really? No?
I wouldn't drive that.
Because you'd stand out. James likes standing out, so despite his cool collective demeanor.
I like standing out in a good way.
Ooh. Ouch! Oh my!
I'm talking about the car.
Well, yeah, but you're questioning James's taste here.
No.
And a lot of people said, "Oh, wow, sign me up." When they saw
At
the
least
red
50 people have.
Yeah, well, 50 people.
well, if they're all spoken for. But yeah, for sure, the black and silver one's a little more subtle, or it's a lot more subtle. But yeah, you won't. But it looks nice either way. I think it's a nice car.
Yeah, good historical,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another Nissan vehicle celebrating 50 years, which is incredible. So they have two performance-oriented cars celebrating 50 years, which is which is awesome. I think it just shows you how well the cars were managed, developed, managed, and engineered throughout history, and that is the GTR. And this is the 50th anniversary edition that they introduced in New York. And again, unfortunately, not too many exterior mods. You kind of see it almost looks like, but that's Wangan or Bayside Blue, which I think we last saw on the R34. Well, it wasn't marketed here, but and this also pays homage to the old race car of the Hakosuka Skyline that was pretty much meant to win the Japan Grand Prix, which they did, took first place. I think it was in the very first one. And let's see, it's a 50th anniversary model, so you can see in the rear they have the 50th anniversary signs on it. Ooh, and the wheels with the blue accents and the 50th anniversary is there. This car has, it's based on the track edition, and you can't tell here, but it's supposedly the grille has been changed with a new color, excuse me, side skirts and some garnish, and it gets, the track edition gets 600 horsepower, which lines it up with the Nismo, because the Nismo kind of stays the same, yet the engine has been it has evolved because it's got new GT3 turbochargers in there, straight from the GT3 race car. I haven't driven it, but some of my colleagues that have driven it said this thing really drives just crazy different. I mean, it's just, it's
The anniversary they've driven?
well, the track edition, anniversary. These are, are
they-
spies.
So they came out with
Excuse me.
3 anniversary versions. Is that? I saw
3 colors, three color schemes. So one is pearl white with I think a red stripe, and one is silver with a white stripe. Excuse me.
I saw the press releases. So they had the anniversary, the 3 color anniversaries, and then they had the track edition and the Nismo. And those are just like 2020 versions, right? They're just
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Excuse me.
Well, hopefully Sam lost this episode. To be honest, the way it's going, it doesn't look like it.
I think is it the dust or the smoke? There's no smoke, so it must be the dust. So anyways, and then we got the Nismo version. You can see that it's new with these vents, louvered vents in the front fender, and it has evolved. When you look at the specs, you're not going to see too much different because it's 600 horsepower, but everything's, all the major body parts are carbon fiber. The new turbos, I hear, just absolutely improved response. The guys who drove this, they said this thing drives crazy different. And the big news for this is standard on this car are the carbon ceramic brakes. And that's usually a 20, 30,000. I mean, carbon ceramic brakes on race cars and really high-end exotics.
Yeah.
So I think we can safely assume that the Nismo GTR is going to go up in price quite a bit. The carbon ceramic brakes are also available on the track edition too. So you could get it on there, but it's probably going to be a $10,000, $20,000 hit. And I think what Nissan wanted to do with the Nismo is, hey, let's just take this and let's just take it as far as it can go. It's time, and like you said, it might be a harbinger of things to come because maybe they're going to go out with this model. You never know, because GTR's been around for it's been around for a little bit, but this is really going to be a race car that I think Tamura-san, the CPS of this car, said it's still a car anyone could enjoy on the street, no matter what your skill level. But of course, guys with skill levels of Alexander Rossi or something are going to be able to squeeze every little power out of this thing, or performance out of this thing. This is how it looks from the rear. It's still a pretty good looking car. I mean, but
This car I would like to own.
the Nismo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you the. Here's the 50th anniversary of GTR, and here is the Hakosuka Skyline that it's based on. So this one's white with blue stripes, and there's blue with white stripes, and I'm sure they wanted to bring back that Bayside blue, the Wangan blue. So And no, this is not me driving because I am not that old. I think this is in the 60s, so as old as you think I am. But what do you guys think about the GTR, both the 50th anniversary and the, just thoughts on the GTR now that it's 50, and the Nismo? Go ahead, you first, James.
I mean, I like it. I mean, obviously, I've got a very, the R32 is close to my heart. I'm very much a big fan of that one.
We'll talk about that later.
But I think that the continual evolution of the GTR is very impressive, and how they keep pushing it every year. Essentially, they're able to shave a few more extra pounds off and shave a few more extra horsepower, or this, that, or the other, or make a few small changes here. So I like how it's progressed over time. I think that's very good. I, like Taro, would also like to have one in my garage, obviously. But the question is, I mean, what price point is this going to be at now when they're from the Nismo?
The Nismo, I'll bet it's going to be closer to 180.
What do you
So
think?
that's what I mean. So there you go.
Maybe 180, maybe 200. We're talking carbon ceramic brakes on that
So
too.
then what we talk about there is
GT3
like,
turbochargers, race turbo.
so then let's have a quick question and say, would you rather have this, or would you rather have two Corvettes at the 600 horsepower?
Ooh, you might even have 3.
Well, that's what I mean. Or you could even have a 1,000 horsepower hybrid version of one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That might even come in
Just saying.
less.
It could still be cheaper than the Nismo, the hybrid.
It could be.
Corvette.
It could be with
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower.
Right.
So this, I mean, you've got to be very dedicated. Obviously, it's very much a track weapon.
Yeah, but I like what they did just because they said, hey, we're going to take this car and we're going to just take it as far as we can go with what we have. And I think that's what they did.
But-
and with the Nismo, who cares about price? Let's just
Yeah.
Yeah, with this one though,
make this the Halo car.
I don't think I'd need to have the Nismo version if I had it. Because I think I could just make do with the general normal version.
Yeah.
Because whereas say the 370, the price point is something I can afford, and I could
Right,
pay the extra
right.
to get the Nismo. I think it's worth it
Right.
for that. But this, with this being so far out of my price range,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd need. And then at some point, how much would I really know and notice the difference between the two, and how often would I be using it that much?
Well, obviously, they didn't make it
And-
for guys like you or me. You know, who have
People like
$10 million in the
Taro,
bank.
there you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
No.
and importantly, I think is obviously the Nismo. You've got the super stiff suspension, which is fine for me driving around. But when you've got family or whatever in the car, it makes it kind of uncomfortable. And this front spoiler is also kind of low, so you don't like scraping that. And no matter who you
Well,
are,
it's a track car.
whenever you scrape something, you always
You don't feel good.
pull that
No,
face, you
not a
pull
good
that ooh face,
Not a feeling.
and you don't want to
Yeah.
do that often.
Yeah.
And and like James, I think you were hitting it on the dot when you said, yeah, this might be kind of the car that they send it off, because what we hear from our people in Japan is 2022 is the year that, that's when we will see, perhaps see a new Z and a new GTR. And you can see that the rendering of the GTR, it has the the Ital design, even the color there. So, I think, I don't know how good that, the grill is so big on the, I don't have the image of it. You could just, people just look it up, the Ital design GTR 50. But yeah, something like that, but smooth and not like this, I think would make a really nice car,
It was kind of like their anniversary.
It was their 50th anniversary kind of thing.
Shebang, right? I mean,
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
So they did it twice.
Yeah, so they did it
Yeah,
twice.
they did it twice. One was to
Yeah, personally,
celebrate the
I'm not-
racing.
I'm
One
not
was a little
too-
bit more expensive than the other
Yeah,
one as well.
exactly. That was
Even
$1
the
million.
Nismo version, it's
Yeah.
Right.
under 200 is not the Ital design version. It's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
over $200,000.
Yeah. And a Z like this, this kind of looks shark nosy, but I'm sure, they could probably make it look better. And what's notable about the Z here is I think this has a little expression of their new design language that they're going to go forward with. But yeah, 2022 is when we're hearing. So let's not lose hope.
2022 new GTR, is that what
New
we're hearing?
GTR, new Z.
And new Z?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. So let's not lose hope. Let's hope when 2022 comes and these cars are introduced, we could go back to this video and say, "See, guys, we said it back then, 3 years ago. We called it." So.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't go for the Nismo GTR. Well, personally, like
Well, it's going to be
realistically,
very expensive. And who needs carbon ceramic brakes when you're
right.
if you're not
I mean, you
driving?
won't be able to drive it. You can't fit anybody. I like the fact that I like the GTRs. I fit 2 small kids in the back too, so I'd probably
Yeah,
go
very
for.
good. I don't know if that's
They'll fit. My
really
kids will still
okay.
fit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, my kids will still fit.
And like you said, James, I mean, these cars are getting lower and lower, and when I think we can appreciate is something that's higher and something that has the name of one of our favorite colleagues here. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll go straight to the colleague.
Oh,
The Taro K.
We're changing.
We're changing gears now.
That's all right,
We're
yeah.
Taro K.
We're done with the GTR?
Yeah, oh, what, did you want to say something?
No, it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just love
We wanna
talking
go-
about the GTR.
Okay, so I guess this is Taro.
Well, I thought you would have talked more about your own
Yeah.
car.
I mean, your name is Taro Koki, so they say Taro K.
This
You
one
know?
has my name on it.
I mean, it has your name on it.
My
Taro
wife was
K.
like,
Taro.
my wife was like, why'd you post that on your Facebook? It's like, look at the bumper, it has my name on it.
Exactly. This car is already, it's been making its North American debut right now at New York. But it was introduced in Brazil, in the Sao Paulo International Motor Show in November. So it's been around for a while, but we needed to bring it back just because of the name of it.
Well, not
You could
only-
yawn, it's okay.
Not only is the name interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look at it though. I mean, it looks like a really fun car though. I would love to take it.
It's going to be, you know, what's cool about it, it's going to be pretty compact because it's on the Golf Jetta Tiguan, platform. So it's going to be like a compact truck.
little surfer mobile.
It-
I like it as
definitely
well
is.
because you've got unlimited storage out back.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
It does.
Unlimited. You can
Yes.
just stack up.
You can fold the bed down and you can make it into a long.
Right here, yeah. That right there,
Right there.
it goes
No, I
right
was
into the
thinking more
cabin.
going upwards. You
Oh.
could just stack
Oh.
up. Unlimited storage. Unlimited.
Well, you can't go too far over it. It's gonna
No,
tilt-
no, it's
tip over.
unlimited,
Okay,
Sam.
Got
gotta
it.
sell
Okay.
in California for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
Its competitors would be like the Ridgeline, Frontier, Tacoma,
And the
Ranger,
and
the
Subaru-
Colorado.
Subaru Brat as well. Maybe it might be a competitor for this.
Really?
Just
Okay.
take
It's
but-
a lot
Two
bigger
seats
than
in
the
the
Subaru. Yeah. But the concept is very similar. But this
you
is
don't even have to
smaller.
get personalized plates, man. It's got your name
It's
on it
smaller
already.
than originally, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's small. It's
Right.
small. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no,
lot
it's
small.
a Jetta. It's on a Jetta
Yeah, it's on a
platform.
Jetta
Yeah,
platform.
right.
So
I mean, it's a fun look. It's like more like a Jimny, kind of like. Well, it's bigger than a
yeah,
Jimny.
Jimny.
but-
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's way bigger than a Jimny. Yeah. But anyways, so the only reason we're covering this because I think the name Taro K.
Hey, it's a fun looking car.
Yeah, you need to put a little
I would.
period after the O.
I know.
And it'll be perfect.
Put a little period there.
Yeah.
and
If only that parking sensors between the O and the K, you'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then just introduced a few moments ago as the Kia, and they call it the Habanero. So it's based on the Nero, and I think they wanted to go the Porsche route, right? We have the Porsche Cayenne.
They wanted to-
Now this is the Habanero.
So you're saying this is
Habanero.
Enfuego?
Oh, it's spicy. Yes, it's hot.
It's a hot tamale?
It's a hot tamale. Oh, they keep them coming, James. So, anyways, all electric, 300-mile range. It's got some really fancy doors. Pretty neat looking interior.
I just like
Is
the
this
interior
from
because
New York as well?
Yes.
Yeah, this, just
Just today.
yeah,
I
just
like it
today.
because if you were to spill your tomato sauce, which is I often wanted to do in this cabin, you
It's
wouldn't
perfect.
notice it.
Well, it's bright red.
There you
Or
go.
if you're bleeding, you wouldn't notice you're bleeding. So.
Well, that too. So hopefully
a
it's
little
more
darker,
tomato
yeah.
sauce or sriracha instead of blood. Sam, I like where your wine went straight to that.
Yeah, well, hey,
Because you are John Wick incarnate, obviously. I know you often get
don't
stopped.
kill my dog.
I just know you
Don't
often
kill
get
my
stopped in
dog.
the streets. Excuse me, are you
Don't
John
kill
Wick?
my dog. So, anyways, yeah, all electric, 300-mile range. So everyone's coming up with some, electric cars,
Well, they have to
crossovers.
by law.
They don't even call this crossover. Kia says it's a electric everything car or something like
Well,
that.
even
So.
in Britain too, right? With the new law that or some guys are proposing.
Yeah.
But the Korean makers, Hyundai and Kia, I think they're bringing, they're bringing it to, they're bringing it to the table. They're not.
Well, obviously Kia already have the Soul, which is electric, so I think this
Right.
is just the step forward of that technology and then putting in
The
something which
Nero.
looks kind of similar,
Yeah.
but as a concept obviously, but the idea of they've got a small car that's electric already and that's just this is the potential for what can go into our next one.
I haven't heard anything about if they're going to actually produce it, price range, anything like that. So I think right now it's a pure concept. Of course, these I don't think these doors will make it, but they are cool. They make it, they make the concept cool.
I think always that those doors would just be difficult to park next to someone.
No, well, that's
would be
the
impossible.
hard
It would be impossible.
especially in some of these parking spaces now where everything's just crunched together.
It's a design concept.
Oh, and also they're saying this will have like level 5, I think, of their autonomous driving, so it's almost self-driving. So yeah, they're starting to come. Everyone's starting to bring the future to the
I mean,
table.
that would, like,
So
those doors would like whack someone just like waiting there.
I like it.
Like on the side of the street.
yeah, but man, it opens it makes it easier to get in. Look at it. Look at that space. You could just get in. It's a big hole.
Lots of visibility there too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we didn't want to leave our Korean manufacturer friends out of it. We just did the Taro and needed Taro.
The Taro K.
We needed to put in
I
the
need that car.
Mercedes too. They just introduced the A35 AMG, and the A35 hatchback and the AMG is being sold in Europe. It's not available here. So I have a picture of the hatchback. What they're introducing in New York is the sedan version. That'll be coming to the U.S. And I don't think the stock, the normal A35 will be coming. I don't know. But I know the AMG car is coming. They're saying 302 horsepower, 295 pound-foot of torque from obviously a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, all-wheel drive, dual clutch, 0 to 60 in about 4.7 seconds, $45,000. So it's not going to be that big of a car. It's going to be pretty affordable. So it puts it right into the Audi S3 range. They say a more hotted up 400 horsepower might become with it, more AMG. That will probably rival the BMW M2. I love it. I can't wait to see this car. It's nice to see Mercedes and BMW really kind of duke it out in the lower ranges there. But I think it looks good too. So
Yeah, I mean, I prefer.
any comments?
I prefer it as a hatch as opposed to a sedan.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the idea of the hatch.
It's so Euro though, hatch. That's why you like it.
True.
Yeah, hatches don't sell here anymore. So
We always get that.
we always get the sedan or the crossover. But
Exactly. We need more hatches here in the US.
I think so too. I love hatchback. So go ahead.
No, I just think it's
can't
fun.
sell.
I think it's a fun color, especially this one in the yellow. I think it's good. It'll be good. I think the Mercedes have got a couple of nice looking hot vehicles like the GLA. I think that you could do an AMG version of that, for example, and this one. I think it's fun. I like it.
45 grand too. That's not bad for a high performance 300 horsepower Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
this is something I could see in my garage too. Yeah, you too. You too. Okay.
I don't know if I could. This would be this versus the Civic Type R for me. I don't know if I could.
I'd take this in a heartbeat.
Type
Just by love.
See, that's-
I'm sorry. There's a lot of Civic fans out there. It's freaking a fast car. Laps of Nürburgring is like fast.
I just like that.
Front
So I,
drive
could just
car,
come
oh.
in. I just want to come bring my Civic Type R around your house, just park it out front, Sam.
It's like one. Oh.
Hey, it'd probably do great around the track against this thing too.
Yep.
But Civic Type R will probably
300
beat it.
Wait, what's the horsepower on the Civic Type R?
It's about. I think it's the same. Right?
Is it? It'd be a great comparison.
Yeah,
Plus the front wheel drive versus all wheel drive.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, no, I'm just
still,
saying.
yeah.
That's the good mix of
you
cars.
just
in
need
there.
an old guy to drive this.
Old guy.
Sam, do you want to volunteer?
Yeah, okay, I'll volunteer. And then also being introduced today in New York is the Mustang EcoBoost with a high performance package. And so you could be environmentally conscious as well as enjoy a
So
badass muscle car in
is it
Mustang.
an Eco Boost or an Eco Boost,
Yeah,
Sam?
Oh, I say EcoBoost. You
Is
guys
that
say
because you
EcoBoost.
like
Well,
the-
you say Camaro. I say Camaro.
Well, I'm just
You
asking
say
because
Mazda.
if this is the
Mazda.
one of my favorite games on the Sega Genesis was Echo the Dolphin, so I didn't know if this was dolphin powered, Sam. I
Isn't
wanted
it
to get
EcoBoost?
Yes.
What did I say? I said
Echo.
Echo. Oh, whatever, man. Okay, EcoBoost. He says Jaguar. I say Jaguar.
I say correct.
You probably do.
The Camaro was like almost.
Oh, he's pulling his to Queen's English.
I couldn't even.
Camaro.
I couldn't even like recognize what he said until he said the electric car at Formula Drift when he said the Camaro.
Well, yeah,
It's a Camaro.
Camaro.
Camaro. It's like, what is that?
It's Queen's English. We're bastardizing their language.
Yeah. It's
we are,
awful.
We are. We're killing
I mean, it's my Italian heritage as well, as you know, from your pronunciation, Sam, that comes through every week. Every month, I should say.
McKeone.
Yes. Mamma mia.
So, anyways, this car has the 2.3 liter turbocharged engine from the Focus RS. So it's
Wow.
yeah, and the Focus RS was pretty peppy car.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
going to be a
point
peppy
and shoot.
Mustang.
Yeah, and 330 horsepower, which makes it no slouch, 350 pound-feet. and 200 pounds lighter than the V8 GT. So they're saying 4.5 seconds for this car. So
is this going to be priced above or below?
I think it's going to be
GT?
priced below because they're trying to get younger import buyers with this. So maybe grab some Japanese car enthusiasts from this. And I think I've always loved the Mustang. I think it's and the Camaro, and I think they're both.
I think the Mustang is a much more drivable car than the Camaro because the Camaro boot space has always been a problem for me. Whenever
really?
I get the Camaro,
Okay.
you cannot put hardly anything back there in that Camaro boot. So it's not for me.
That's the trunk for.
Oh yeah, the boot, the
Americans.
trunk. Yeah.
Yeah. So often, if you see me driving Camaro, I will have my suitcases, for example, in the passenger seat as opposed to in the back.
Mustang too, no? You could get your
You
stuff.
can put your
It's got usable trunk.
It's just
Okay.
the extra height and width.
This is how speaking of the rear.
I think it's a
the
much
rear.
more functional car than the
Yeah.
Camaro.
Yeah.
Which is why I think the Camaro is going to be getting a refresh because they're seeing that in the sales figures compared to the Mustang.
But anyways, a great car. I think it's a great
Yeah.
car. It's something I would even
I think
consider buying.
I'd probably even take the 2.3 turbocharged version over the V8.
No, you get the
Yeah.
the fuel savings and
Weight
you get
savings.
weight savings and you still get a great lot of
And I
of
like
performance.
I like the big exhaust note as well in that car.
Oh, you've heard the
On the
RS?
so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to
it's
be very
awesome.
similar
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah,
And then
it's
the
the same
pop and the
engine.
crap that
Yeah.
you can get out of it when you downshift.
Yeah. So anyways, that wraps up our coverage on the New York Auto Show. I'm sure there's some stuff we missed because it's happening right now, but we wanted to get you guys the stuff that excited us. So now moving to just regular news, other news. The reason you see one of James's favorite GTRs, and mine too, and Taro's too, the R32, is Nissan has kickstarted their Heritage program where they're making parts available for R32, R33, and R34 Skylines, GTRs. And, this is cool for anyone who's, tuners and those guys. These old cars,
This
the
is
car
the
companies,
GTR that
well,
I actually want.
the
in
car
my
companies
garage.
the car companies don't really make, they stopped making parts for them. So you got to, these guys who own classic cars, they got to go and look for parts, maybe hire someone to make these
Shout out to our
parts.
friend of the podcast, of No Breaking Podcast, and friend in general, Larry Chen, and his GTR. How he's been trying to track down parts for it.
There you go. So now he goes to
You can go to the Heritage.
he goes to the Nissan Heritage program, and R32, which you said is the car you would like to own.
Yeah.
There's the R33, which came right afterwards, which is kind of the same as the R32, but with the extra body and stuff. And they've had similar engines. It was the RB engine out there the whole time. And probably one of my favorites. I think I might take the R34 over the R32. I really love the
If we
R34.
can get the
V-spec.
R34 in my garage in California, yes, I would.
Well,
choose the
shout out to
R34.
my buddies at Top Rank. They're actually, bringing cars in legally,
Yeah.
unlike our friends at Motorex. Well, we won't get into that.
Sean at Top Rank is a very nice gentleman.
Sean Morris, exactly. You've had him on No Braking.
Not yet.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Okay, you should. That's a
Yes.
good one.
Yeah,
That's a
you
good one because he's been in the GTR importing business. He's not.
I'm just trying to do that so he can get on the podcast and he can do me a sweet deal on Pulsar GTIR.
I'm
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
Pulsar.
Pulsar. My gosh, yeah, that's a blast from the past. But anyways, that's one of the things, and it's good to have Nissan coming up with positive news these days.
I will say the R34 wheels in these three photos are the best wheels between them all.
Oh yeah, these are nice wheels. Yeah, very thin
The color.
spokes. The
So
color, you like
is
that color? Yeah.
Is this Heritage program offering parts internationally around the
Yes,
world?
yes, and the
Nismo parts.
Nismo parts, right?
and the good thing and this, even though all these three cars were not marketed here, a lot of people are bringing them in from like Top Rank and stuff because I think they have to be 25 years old, and pretty soon I think the R34 is going to be 25 years old. I don't know, but is
You've got
it so?
a good couple of years, yeah.
Is this a few more years? But then
I think
when
they're
these
still-
cars start coming in,
I think they're still
that'll be
buying
awesome.
them and hoarding them in Canada at this point.
Are they?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Because they have the 15-year rule.
oh, it's 15-year.
Okay.
Canada's 15, ours is 25. Okay.
Yeah, same
So,
as in
yeah.
in most Commonwealth countries, it's 15 years.
Okay. So anyways, that anyone who's buying in the market for these old Nissans, you don't have to worry about parts anymore. There's a place you could get them. So
So Mazda started a heritage program too. Did you hear about this one?
No, for
So
their
you can take your old
Cosmo? Or
yeah,
something?
Cosmo Miatas,
Mhm.
and then they'll refurbish it for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, yeah.
I would think
It
you
takes
could
like
still
3 months or so,
Mhm.
but it's like handcrafted. They'll like refurbish it for you, and then you.
Yeah, when you think about it, Miata, when did that car come out?
There's a lot.
1990?
You'd think it was 30 years since they just released a 30th anniversary
Oh,
model.
was it?
So,
Okay, there
yes.
you go.
And we also
Brits.
talked about that before the podcast, the show started.
No, I was just zoning you out. I was
No,
just
you
saying
usually
yes.
zone out me
So,
anyway,
so Nissan is just selling the parts, right? You can't like actually bring your old
No,
R32
you just
and
order
No,
them.
yeah, parts. Yeah,
Parts,
just
parts, right, yeah.
heritage, yeah,
But then
parts
again, I
for
guess
it.
the question is, would you want to take your R32 to your local Nissan dealership?
To have
and then
them
have
work
them
on it.
work
No
on
one
it.
knows how to work on it.
no, not the. But what Mazda's doing is they take you take it to like Hiroshima. You have to send it into Mazda, and their people will like completely refurbish it for you.
That sounds like an expensive affair.
It does, but you know.
For your Miata? No, you just look on eBay and
No,
just do it yourself. Anyways. Okay, so anyways, there's their heritage program.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, for guys who like, yeah. The reason we have an older car here, older vehicle, the NX, is I just drove this to Vegas not too
That's
long ago.
way newer than what we were just looking at.
Yeah, that's true, but, and I just do my little quick driving impression, thought it was fantastic. I drove the hybrid. I do know the chief engineer of this car, so actually when I drove, I go, he really did a great job. I thought the balance was good, it was very comfortable, very quiet, and it's actually got me to thinking, maybe for my daughter or something, when she's 15 now, if I'm going to buy her a car, it probably won't be this one, maybe the RAV4 or something that it's based on, but very, very fine automobile, great gas mileage. The only thing I did not like about it, and this is in all Lexus vehicles, is this thing. Oh gosh, just going to menu and scrolling here and there. You almost think this is kind of the definition of over-engineering. I think it's kind of it's cool, it's hip, but being an old guy, not a millennial, I'm not really into that. I think you've had.
What was your problem with the?
Oh, you just take too many steps. It's, it's not. You can't. I mean, if it was a touch screen, boom,
You
I'll
just
hit it
go
and
right
I'll
to
hit
it.
that. This one I got to boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it, boom, boom, boom. And then so.
The knob is easier too.
Yeah, knob is easier. My BMW has a knob, so. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we all like knobs. But speaking of that, the challenge I felt with this, apart from being a little bit touchy, was that you had to take your eyes off the road and look down to where your hand was. You couldn't keep driving and then move the hand round to do it and make the selections. It was too difficult to do that. I think, as Sam suggested, they had that large, which is the largest touchscreen. If they had it just as a touchscreen instead of a trackpad, it'd be much easier. And you know what else they could do there? They could fill up with an extra cup holder.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Or a phone charging space, something like that, or something else. I think it just makes more sense to have it as a touchscreen.
I just think the knobs.
No, the knob is just as bad. If you have to put a name, if you're doing GPS through the knob and you have to put the name of the street in, oh, the BMW one, oh, it's awful.
Yeah, no, it is awful. You do one letter at a time by scrolling up
Yeah.
and down.
That's true.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
everyone these days, let's be honest, if I'm doing anything on GPS, it's straight into my phone, and I'm putting
Me
my
too.
phone in
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. Use
So-
Waze or something.
Importantly, what I didn't like about most of the Lexus vehicles is they're not Android compatible, they're only Apple compatible.
Oh, are they still?
So it's like, how can it not be at this stage where you've got the one that's the main,
Oh, I think they are changing that though. All their cars are going to be
Still.
Apple, Android,
Apple-
and
Apple
everything.
Play, right.
Yeah.
the Apple Play, but they're not Android capable as well.
I think they are going to be changing that.
That's an issue.
And then, so that's my experience with the car, the Lexus NX, wonderful car. And then James, you had a car, test driving a car this week.
Yeah.
And ooh, look at those photos. I thought those were the press photos.
Well, you know what? It could only make those photos better as if someone had taken those car windows and put them down, because then it really spoils the line. So I think
Kinda
that
does.
whoever the photographer was needs to take lessons from that.
Kind of does, yeah. I mean, it's a
I
little
mean,
extra step
Exactly,
that
that makes all the difference there.
But the light on the car is perfect, so it looks like you got good light. interesting background. I love
Road
the
and
button
track,
boards.
they always
Yeah, we had to
turn.
It had to be perfect.
lower.
Have to lower the windows. That's always what you got to do. I mean, and I only take my credentials from anyone that was at road and track. It's
That's how they
anyone
did it in road and track.
So,
Absolutely.
speaking anyway of the car, $36,000, which made Sam wince.
Yeah, 36
But
from
that
or
was
MX-5.
the base price is just under 30. So the 36 included the price for delivery and the Recaro and those wonderful BBS wheels.
Mm-hmm.
So it was $4,500 for the Recaro and the wheels. So if you were to buy a pair of Recaro seats and put them in your car and put a new set of BBS rims on, I mean that's
Probably got, yeah,
$4,000 is pretty close, but there's
yeah.
not much of a dealer markup on
Yeah.
that.
And it does look good,
The-
those wheels.
You look at these pictures, man, they're really good.
The main,
The
main.
wide one. The wide one.
I didn't see
It's
them.
shot.
I didn't-
Or someone shot.
I just,
So I will say that I really like the car. The extra 25 horsepower they put into it and the extra torque they put through is really, really noticeable.
oh, really?
I mean, everything about it was real good. So the thing I'm not too fan of is the road noise that you get when driving it with the top up, because I'm not really a convertible kind of guy. So you get a bit of road noise coming through the top. which
Yeah,
I think
this
is
one's a
nice.
soft top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that I would say that I was disappointed by was the sound of the exhaust.
Mm.
I just think it could have done with a better sounding exhaust.
Oh, you put your own on there.
Well, so that's my suggestion to Mazda would be, in 2 years' time,
Mazda?
Mazda,
Yeah.
could be celebrating 30 years of a Le Mans victory, and maybe a Le Mans edition of their Miata could come in with Mazda Speed Le Mans edition with an extra exhaust and some extra horsepower from a cold air intake.
Do you know of any Mazda vehicle that's been that's celebrated their Le Mans victory?
The only
With
one
like
that I
a
think
Le Mans
celebrated it was the only victory they celebrated was the Bathurst victory with the RX-7 in Australia.
That's
And it was a
that's an
Bathurst
Australian.
edition.
Yeah, it's an Australian
But
race.
Why don't they
What-
do that?
Yeah, the
Is
Le
it-
Mans
is it a rights
so
thing?
significant.
Maybe it's a
787B.
rights thing.
Everyone
I
knows.
don't know, it can't be a rights thing, because they, no matter what, they
Because they
still
have the
won.
rights. They won. I mean,
Well, they have the, yeah. but
I mean,
they
it's their
won.
car. You know, with the renowned, the renowned livery.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you think of it, if you saw one that was orange and green, had the orange and green livery
yeah,
on,
with the little.
Yeah, but what?
Dotted lines.
I think it's a rights thing.
no, I wouldn't imagine it's a rights thing.
I mean,
They won it.
They
They won it.
They
But
won
how
it.
much would you
But
want-
that
I
doesn't
mean,
mean they own the rights to use the name Le Mans for a car, though.
Well, probably, but then who'd want to pay to get the rights usage?
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
smart if they did.
I
do
mean,
that, but
they had a racetrack named after them, for God's sake, Laguna Seca.
well, they paid for that.
Well, yeah, why not?
But why-
They could what pay for
But
Le
like
Mans.
other car manufacturers
And you know-
also
but
don't
you know
have
what?
Le Mans
That-
versions.
that-
It's not
that-
just Mazda.
But that race is called the 24 Hours of Le Mans, so I mean, you're just naming it after the city, Le Mans. So I don't know if you want to
Well, if you
get
think
into legally picking.
Well,
so
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it would be only natural for Mazda to do that because Mazda's the first Japanese manufacturer.
I'm sure they could, maybe not Le Mans, maybe something, but something to celebrate that
But I
car.
mean, like I said,
You know, it's the first Japanese manufacturer for a while that lasted for a while to win Le Mans. And
Yeah, I
they
mean-
came out of nowhere.
they released a Bathurst edition, which is obviously the name of the town where the race is held.
Right.
So everyone knows Bathurst. I mean,
Right,
Bathurst
right.
is the.
Which is actually technically Mount Panorama, the circuit name.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Well, Sarth, the Le Mans circuit is the Sarth circuit. So
Sorry, yeah.
yeah, so that's the official name of the circuit.
But if you think about it, no other manufacturer have other manufacturers come out with their Le Mans versions.
No,
They
if
have.
anyone, yeah, no.
They
If
have.
not. And maybe you're right.
Audi,
Maybe
no,
Jaguar,
right,
Audi.
everyone.
Back in the
No one-
Well, Audi had a whole campaign about them celebrating their diesel victory, and they focused on the diesel
That's
in the
true.
cars, as opposed
But
to that.
did they ever use the word Le Mans?
They
in
did not
anything?
have a Le Mans.
Well, that's something that someone could.
Right.
But
if
anyway-
they
Know about
should.
it,
But,
let's-
to James' point, I
Right.
think they should have something that celebrates.
Yeah.
That
So-
787B.
So if we get back to this car, the picture behind, I thought it was a really good car.
Oh, sorry.
It was an excellent car. I couldn't really fault anything wrong with it. I mean, mine was being super picky and saying the exhaust note was off because,
But that's
to be
it.
honest, you don't really hear the exhaust because you're too busy having fun in the car. The
Very
one-
tossable.
Perfect. The extra 25 horsepower they gave you, the tweaks to the engine with the Skyactiv technology, very well worth the difference, and it makes a huge
Did
change.
you take it around town or?
Yes, it was around town, went up for the canyons as well. I mean, it's 188 horsepower, like I said. It's probably,
That's plenty.
it's like right on the money for what you need. You don't
Plenty.
need any more than that. The only thing minor...
Makes it fun. Makes
Yeah.
it just that much fun.
Yeah, so it felt really quick, it felt good, and like I said, if I compared this to the BRZ, which I had most recently, the TRD version, I would take this one over the TRD.
Oh,
The
really?
8.6?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
And,
I will
and,
say-
and it has nothing to do with one being a convertible. It just drives.
No, I mean, I'm even take the car that I don't want to buy a convertible. I definitely, I mean, I'd like to have I'll be doing a test on the Mazda RF with the hardtop version, obviously, in comparison to see between the two. But I prefer this, even though it's more expensive, because I really did enjoy those Recaro seats that were very expensive.
Right, 36 grand is a lot of money for this car. Yeah.
But,
But I think you could have just as much fun with a 29 grand. 1001.
you
Just wouldn't look as good.
well, no, it just doesn't have the nice wheels, it doesn't have
Yeah,
the
the
Recaro
seats,
seats.
Right.
I mean, I read some people say they actually don't like the Recaro seats, that they feel it's a little restraining. I like them. Some people say they prefer the Grand Touring version because it's a little less stiff. I like the stiffness in the car. So I will say that it is stiff because it's the suspension mods that
Right.
modifications made.
Right.
But
But it makes it
that was my
handle.
preference. That was why I liked it over the Grand Touring.
So a big thumbs up for you. It
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah, really like-
it sounds
really
like we're
like
going to
this
see
car.
one in your garage pretty soon. hopefully,
If I could.
if you could, well, when this podcast takes off,
Where it
you're
takes
going to
off,
have
then
this
we'll
and a
go, yeah.
Corvette, man. It's going to be awesome.
Get my R32.
Yeah, your R32. So, oops, what is that on there?
Is it now on Audible?
It's shamelessly, yes,
Is
it
it-
is.
is it-
Shamelessly plugging, but
Well, I would
we're not
put it-
even going to talk about this.
I would-
I need to
Is
plug this first.
It's not only that-
Well, it's not even a plug, but I need to
Go
talk
ahead.
about this.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Talk about it.
Well, I have an image that we can show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's basically they call these things called dorarekos in Japan. They're basically dash cams, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a dash cam. But it's a 360-degree dash cam, which
What do you mean? You can put it on your dash and it looks
it's
behind you too?
So
Yeah,
it
it
means that
does.
when you're driving shirtless, Sam, everyone can see it.
everyone can see you. Exactly. It's built by our friends from CarMate. You know the guys that make the Rezo, all the accessories for
The pedals
Toyota?
and stuff?
Yep.
The pedals and stuff. So CarMate came out with this. It's called Daction 360, and basically you put it up on your windshield, and it takes a 300-degree
360.
angle, a 360-degree angle video
Wow, okay.
of front and almost fully back, because it's like kind of you got to put it mostly facing forward.
So
So
when-
you get the
So when James comes from behind you in his Mazda and scrapes your paint,
It's Mazda.
yeah, in his Mazda, he scrapes your paint, it's all recorded.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it works well. It turns on automatically. It has like this G sensor where if there's collision or a speed bump, it like records 15 seconds front. It records
okay.
the first.
So it's good to have. I mean,
Beginning of that. Yeah.
dash cam's always good to have. Just,
Right,
just,
but
you never know what's
just
going to
for
happen out
security
there.
reasons.
Not only having a dash cam is good to have, you know what else is good to have, Sam?
What's that?
It's a GT Channel t-shirt. So where on earth can we purchase these GT Channel t-shirts, Taro?
You can go to GTChannel.com and purchase these shirts.
And this book is available on Audible, but here's the thing. The guy reading it,
I haven't finished.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I thought you were
No,
finished.
well, hey, you can wear the shirt and you can even be on camera wearing the shirt.
And
Is that all you wanted to say? Is that it?
It works on
That's
a
exactly
mini
how-
SD card, so it
Okay.
records everything.
Yeah.
It records over itself.
Right,
Once
so
it runs out,
it's
so
always on.
you
It should be always on. You just leave it there.
You just leave it
And
on.
something
It's-
happens,
it's-
you could.
You just take the card out.
It's like
That's
Sam.
awesome.
It's always on.
It's always on.
It's-
Gotta
it's
keep that
always
on.
The
Keep it-
only thing that I would
Keep it on the wick.
I
John
have
Wick, right?
about this that I don't like is the app is kind of finicky. So
On
you
your
can-
phone?
you can use the app to kind of like search, look through the image and stuff like that, and like look through all the videos that you recorded. It's kind of finicky, so that might have to do a little bit of updating on the software.
Mm.
But besides that, it works well. I mean, it records everything. It's very, it's hidden right behind your mirrors too.
Oh, so you can't really see it too much. Huh?
Well,
it's not like.
it's tiny. It's like
Okay.
it's like.
Is it
very
is it
big,
wired?
this
Yeah,
big. Yeah, you got
yeah.
wired, but
Yeah.
I was able to just put it in between the seals,
Okay.
and then it just goes right into your lighter.
Oh, okay. That's how it
Yeah,
powers.
and
Okay.
it comes.
Well, not a ladder anymore, a 12 volt.
12
Yeah,
volt,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And it comes with everything, so you don't really need anything. If you just like stick it up there like a GoPro and forget about it if you need it.
Where can they buy it? At GTChannel.com?
No, they can't buy it. You can go online. Also, the thing is that
Amazon? Is it available
it's
on
on
Amazon?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's called.
So
Action
is this book, by the
360.
way.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, and it costs $399.
Well, that's cheap.
That was. You think it's that cheap?
No, it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
ain't
it's
cheap.
not cheap.
Yeah.
I think that's. the
It could
only-
have been worse. It could have been 400.
It
Yeah,
could have been
yeah,
$400.
yeah,
It could have been
$1
$400.
more.
Besides that, I think it's a good product.
Okay.
I would recommend it. Yeah.
All right, well, that's your, anything to add, James?
Well, next time everyone can hear me talk about the Lexus RC350 that I had to drive today.
Well, we cannot wait.
I know, because I was banned today. Did you realize that?
We
Tara?
have
You know
we have
why?
to- we
You
have
know
to
why?
give-
It's because
Oh, sorry, I keep-
your story that you wrote for GT Channel on the Lexus RC350
And no braking.
and no braking. Yep, will be up on our new and improved website. Sort of timing it with that.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
so
very much
timing
looking
with that.
forward to it.
Yeah.
timing it with that. Yeah.
And your next guest on your podcast, when is your next podcast and who's the guest?
So the next podcast, well, I've got several podcasts coming out because I'm still covering the OG
Oh,
Motor
right,
Show.
right.
So they're coming out Monday and Friday. But my next real podcast guest will be Daijiro Yoshihara, the
Someone we're familiar with.
the Drift
Yeah.
Whiz. He will be guesting on the show, and we're doing the recording next week. We're doing it next
Awesome.
Wednesday.
Awesome.
Cool.
Have you got any questions that you want to ask him, Sam?
No, not really.
We're doing it here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear. Yeah. Yeah, just tell him I said hi. That's
All
about
right.
it.
I'll make sure the first thing I do is I tell him that Sam says hi and he doesn't want to hear from you again.
Well,
He's had enough of you. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying.
not-
It's on the podcast. We've recorded it
no,
here.
we are. Well, anyways, I think that should wrap it up. I think we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about next month because the stuff is coming in as we speak. So,
It is, but more importantly, Sam,
Yes.
where can they find you online?
what do you mean? Facebook, Instagram. I have a website that, pretty much all about the book and all my stuff from Road Track, and that's about it.
Because I was going to say they could find obviously Kaiju Kiwi at Kaiju Kiwi on Instagram.
Ah, that's
they
what
could
you're getting
find
to,
me
yeah.
at No Braking on Instagram and Facebook.
Prototype novel. You have to say.
Prototype Novel, Facebook and Instagram, sammitani.com, and Facebook is just Sam Mitani. So, if you pick up the book, haven't had a bad one negative review yet. So,
When are you
keep
going to
my
start
fingers
collecting
crossed.
royalties for the?
They're already coming in a little bit. So yeah, just a little
Like
bit.
Bernie
Yeah.
Sanders.
Huh? Yeah, well, not as much as Bernie, but
Bernie made $1 million on
yeah,
that.
I ain't gonna make $1 million on this unless you guys buy it. But yeah,
More
so
importantly, Tara,
hopefully
where,
they come with-
where can they find this video if it goes onto YouTube? If they miss it on Facebook, where can they look to find out the fact?
Well, you can find it on Facebook, obviously on GT Channel. You can also find it on GT Channel's GT Channel offline channel on YouTube as well. You can also find it on several podcast platforms as well.
And then when
It's an audio podcast.
have you got a date roughly for when the new GT Channel blogs will be going live?
We're working on adding the articles and the image
So we got a
section as we speak. So maybe as soon as a week or so.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And the video enhancement platform that we started in January is
That's right.
really starting to take off.
Yeah,
actually.
that thing's cool. Yeah.
Because
Let's look
the
at that.
Google bot is starting to recognize all the micro moments within the videos.
Mhm.
So we are now, everyone's now able to search within the videos,
Mm.
which was
That's
not
very cool.
possible before.
Yeah.
I mean, a video, you had to put in a title, and that was the only thing that came up. But now you can search within the video on Google, so that's really cool. We're really excited about that.
And I guess the last thing we should say is that we are very much interested in what our viewers and our listeners think. So if they have questions, they can always leave comments here below the video or on YouTube or anywhere else. Or they can reach out to us on our respective social media platforms. Would you say that's true, guys?
I think so.
'Cause we
I'm
always-
easy to find. So
We always like feedback or ideas for future episodes as well on what people want to hear or want to talk about.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we run out of ideas. So okay, well that's about it for now. See you guys next month. Hopefully this was we're getting better as we go along. I think we are. So that's it.
All right.
See you next month.
Thanks, guys.
Sammy, nothing to say or saying?
Oh, and Podspeed.
Finally! Thanks, guys. See you